What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building, and I'm gonna be breaking down Robert Whittaker, the Reaper, versus my guy Kelvin Gastelum. All I see is gold. This is gonna be an awesome matchup. These guys were supposed to fight, I think, at UFC of 234. I don't know what happened. I guess a guy had a tummy ache and he couldn't make it on fight day, but he made it on weigh-ins just to get paid. I don't know what happened. But hey, that's just my opinion. Kelvin Gastelum showed up. So, in wrestling where I grew up, you miss out in a fight, that's a forfeit. So really, this is the rematch. I know I'm probably gonna piss some people off. I'm gonna piss some people off today. Yeah, this is Kelvin Gastelum versus Robert Whittaker 2, KG1 based on forfeit by Robert Whittaker. But it is what it is. This is an awesome fight. If we look at the rankings, though, and look where these guys are ranked right now in their careers, it's an interesting spot. Come on, man. The fucking goddamn ads from the UFCs are out of control. But yeah, Robert Whittaker is the number one middleweight in the world. He was the former champion, and Kelvin Gastelum is the number 10. Is he? No, he's the number 8. I got him confused with Kevin Holland. Kelvin is number 8 in the middleweight division. So, good matchup in terms of, ranking. Sometimes you usually don't have this kind of thing. But this is, in my humble opinion, an owed match. Kelvin was owed this fight with Robert. They were supposed to fight, and Robert just didn't show up. He couldn't make the dance. I don't know why. I get it. People talk about his stomach, and he had to get it pumped, and he had surgery that day. But if he had that serious of an injury, he probably would have known going into fight night. I don't know why he didn't pull out any sooner. That's my issue with the whole entire situation. I do know guys make money if they make weight, so I don't know if he just did it just to get his money and dip. But it's pretty sketchy of him to do that. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Shit happens, and yeah. But let's look at the stats. Robert Whittaker comes in with a record of 22-5. Fights out Australia, age 30, height 6 foot, and a reach of 73.5. Kelvin, 17-6, fighting out of Arizona, but he's at a King's MMA, so that's in California. So he's fighting out of California. I'm not sure specifically. I think Huntington Beach, somewhere. I think that's where King's MMA is at. I might be wrong. Age 29. Height 5'9", and a reach of 71. So Robert does have the height and reach advantage. But if we look at my guy Kelvin and we look at what he's been able to accomplish in this division, we look at everything he's accomplished in terms of his last 6 fights, notable wins. He has some good wins. If we look all the way back, he has that win over Uriah Hall, at the Tough Show. Has that win over Rick Story via split decision, beat Jake Ellenberger. He does have that split decision loss to Tyron Woodley, which doesn't look the greatest, but hey, it is what it is. That was a long time ago. That was in 2015. He does have a win over Nate Marquardt via stoppage in the second round, a guy, Nate who beat Woodley. Then he does have a split decision loss to Neil Magny in a 5-round war. That was a great fight. He did beat Johnny Hendricks. He beat Tim Kennedy, killed Vitor Belfort, then has that loss to Chris Weidman via arm triangle choke in the 3rd round, which is interesting. I didn't know it was in the 3rd round. I thought it was in the 2nd. Yeah, but it is what it is. But one of his marquee wins, one of the wins that put him on top of the middleweight division and put him in title contention, was his victory over Michael Bisping. All right, I like Michael as a person. I love his podcast. I don't watch it all the time, I'm not gonna lie, but he seems like a cool dude. I actually met him at the state wrestling tournament. His son was wrestling. Nice guy. I don't want to come off like a jackass, but Michael Bisping as champ was a menace to society. Obviously he did beat. Let me turn off my phone. He beat my boy Luke Rockhold, so I'm a little salty about that. But but man, he wasn't fighting no contenders. He fought fucking Dan Henderson and George St. Pierre when you had guys like Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza, right, in the division. Just those three, just for thought, even Chris Weidman at the time. I remember when Michael and Robert Whittaker were champion, the division was just so competitive and just so healthy. And then now, look at it now. You have the rainbow champion in Israel Adesanya just ruining the sport. But it is what it is. Not the sport, the division. I'm not going to say he's ruining the sport. The sport is great. It's healthy. Jan Blachowicz really saved the sport. So we always got to give kudos to that guy. Every day I always got to shout him out for that. But Michael was running amok, with the division. He was blatantly ducking opponents. For God's sakes, Robert Whittaker had an interim championship, and while Robert was the interim title holder, he fought George St. Pierre. Like, what's going on here? He almost lost to Dan Henderson. He lost to George St. Pierre. And then I was just, and he had, even though he lost the championship, he had still a high-ranking spot, and we had to get rid of this one-eyed bandit, this UK thug, and fucking, Michael Bisping, the dummy that he is, takes this fight, I think, on 3 weeks' notice after getting dropped and choked out by George St. Pierre. Everyone calls him he got everything he deserved. Like, I know people call him a warrior for this, and he's an awesome fighter, and this loss shouldn't count on his record, but I enjoyed this. I picked Kelvin, and this was beautiful. He knocked his lights out. He knocked him out cold. Sent him over there. Kelvin's just flexing. Fat boy. Kelvin's like the epitome of skinny fat. He's like, or skinny fat in shape. Like, if I could combine all those, like, he's in shape, he's a little fat, and he's somewhat skinny in the legs. Like, he's somewhat skinny in the legs. But oh my God, it was just so hyped when he knocked this idiot out, bro. Like, no disrespect to Bisping. Bisping's a G. I like him a lot, but I did not like him as a fighter. I like him more now as a commentator and, as someone, as a podcaster. He just seems like a fun guy. But man, KG taking his soul was so beautiful, and KG put himself in a really good spot. Put himself back in a number one contender kind of spot. And then, he fights Jacare Souza. Jacare Souza's coming off this crazy win over Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson, he knocked Derek Brunson twice, by the way. And the second time he did it in his hometown of Charlotte. That's how you know. Jacare was a beast, man. Even that, after Jacare, even when he lost to Whittaker, he still had, he still was a monster. Like, that little second run he was on, the win over Derek Brunson and Chris Weidman. Like, he was a beast, man. Even all the way up to his split decision loss to Jan Blachowicz, he was a beast. But this was an interesting fight. It was very close. Jacare he had more of a wrestling heavy game plan. He had some success on the feet, but overall, Kelvin just lit him up, hit a beautiful 1-2, got inside his guard, and kind of really won the fight based on the knockdown. It was a beautiful knockdown. Jacare did the right things, trying to maintain, but, Kelvin's, the way he splits through the guard, and obviously it's MMA, and, they don't have big boxing gloves, or it's not like kickboxing, so the guard game is very, very dangerous. You're playing with fire, even if you keep your hands up. Like, it's hit or miss sometimes. But, dude, he knocked him down. Then he's supposed to fight Robert Whittaker, right? Does all the media with this jackass, right? Does all the press conference with this dude. And this dude's talking about his tummy. He got a tummy ache and dips out. And Kelvin, famously has the belt with him. I think Cejudo gave it to him and said, "Hey, I am the real champ. I am the uncrowned champ." I was so, at this moment, I was so high on top of KG. He was my guy. I've always been a big KG fan, man, for a long, long time. And just to see him just at the top of his game, it was so beautiful to watch. I was just crying, laughing, just seeing all the things happen with the division and people getting mad. Like, Conor McGregor was talking shit about him because he had staph, right? That's what happens, Conor, when you actually work hard and train hard, and actually, you compete, you get those kind of issues. That's called, that's basically what a hard worker does. I don't know if Conor knows what that looks like, but it is what it Man, I'm throwing shots today. But it is what it is. People were hating on KG. You know, I had some friends that, you know, I have friends that like Adesanya, so, you know, they were hating on him and stuff like that because of the comments. And, you know, I think Izzy had said, "Take the belt off, bro," or something like that after he beat I think a 43-year-old Anderson Silva and barely beat him. Like, you know, it is what it is. And then, you know, they booked the fight with KG and Adesanya for the interim title, and I was just so hyped because I was just so confident that KG was gonna just end this fool. You know, I was just so confident, y'all. I've never been more confident for a fight, and it ended up being my downfall. But I'll tell you one thing, man. I'll never forget the entrance that KG had for that. In my humble opinion, top 5 favorite entrances of all time. You know, obviously there's a lot of great entrances in MMA history. You know, a lot of them. But this one was just my favorite. You know, the Mexican music just going crazy, and him just running through to the octagon, just staring down Adesanya like, "You fucking sissy, I'm a punk you, bro." And it was just amazing. And this fight was a great fight. As much as I don't like Adesanya or Titty Sanya, whatever you want to call the guy, I mean, I can't hate on this fight, man. This fight was great. Both guys. It takes 2 to tango, so I got to give Titty Sanya some credit. But you know, I mean, Kelvin did great. He did great for himself in this matchup, man. You know, the first round, I gave him the first round. He's just doing so many great things. You know, he was able to drop him with that lead, you know, check hook. He doubled it up. He hit 2 of them. Then, you know, he hit some beautiful combos even near the end of the round where he throws a 1-2, hits Adesanya. He was just so good with, you know, destroying the distance and the reach that Adesanya had over him. You know, Adesanya had a really great reach advantage, and his boxing was such on point. But there were certain mistakes he made in the second round. He kind of tripped up a little bit. It was a weird knockdown, and then Adesanya pinpoint gets his chin in the second round. And then Adesanya had like this crazy spinning back elbow, just awesome sequence. Kelvin goes for the takedown. Adesanya sprawls. You know, just craziness. Third round, I thought it was a really, really good round. I probably edged it a little bit to Adesanya, but KG got a really great takedown in there. You know, showed his heart and his wrestling pedigree. Kid's a former, I think, state champion, or he was the number 4 kid in Arizona. Really, really good wrestler. Then, yeah, in the 4th round, I mean, oh my God, I went crazy. You know, this is where I got too confident because my dad, you know, sometimes I watch the pay-per-views with my pops, right? And he was super hyped on Adesanya. He likes that idiot, right? And I was talking so much shit when Kelvin hits the head kick, and then he's about to finish him, and then he goes for a fucking takedown. And I was like, I didn't know that was how the story would end for my guy KG. But it was so disgraceful just to see him go out like that. You know, I was so pissed off at him for that near the end. And I was just talking so much shit, you know, during the fight, like I thought it was over. Titty monster is gone. You know, Adesanya is gone. And then Adesanya, man, I got to give him one thing. The guy, he you know, he wants to be a fucking anime character so bad. He fights like one. And he had a great moment. I'll give him that. In that 5th round, he went out there guns a-blazing. He put everything on the line. He knew that, you know, he could have got knocked out in that 5th round badly. And he went out there and had like almost like a Jordan-esque moment. You know, he's down 5 points basically. 30 seconds left and just goes crazy, right? Kind of like Jordan. He got 3 knockdowns. I mean, man, I thought the fight should have been stopped near the end. I was like, fuck, he's killing my guy KG. Man, those last 3, I mean, that's how you win. I think DC said that's how you fight like a champion. That's how you end a championship fight. That's how you let guys know you're on top and ain't nobody taking it. And he did his thing, you know. All respect to him. All respect to him. He got the belt. This was a hard pill for me to swallow because, you know, I wasn't on YouTube, so it was a good thing I probably would have got a lot of hate. But, man, I was just so confident, y'all. Like, and maybe that was my downfall, but, like, I'm telling y'all, I was so confident Kelvin was going to beat him. I was just so confident. Like, I've never been that confident for a fight. Maybe, like, I was super confident for Colby. I think that's on my YouTube channel. Colby versus Usman. I was really confident for that fight. But this one, I was just like, And it's crazy how like crazy those fights are, right? Both of them. But I was just like just shocked, just how Adesanya just did that in the 5th round. Like I was so heartbroken. And then Kelvin, this is where everything goes to shit for Kelvin, right? Kelvin fights Darren Till. In my opinion, Darren Till, was, if you look at Darren Till that fought Robert Whittaker and Darren Till that fought Kelvin, he was jacked for the Kelvin fight. He was in great shape. You look at him when he fought Robert Whittaker, he kind of looked like he was recovering from quarantine, or like that quarantine weight gain, basically. That's how I felt, in my humble opinion. But for, the Till fight with KG, man. Oh, man, KG kind of got schooled in this matchup, I thought that I thought this was not a smart matchup for KG, because it was like it's not a win-win situation. You knock him out. Jorge already knocked him out. I don't know why you're fighting this guy, But I didn't even call Till a tune-up, and KG was calling this guy a tune-up fight. I thought it was gonna be a decent fight. I picked KG, but I just was shocked that he was taking this fight. And it was just such a risky fight. It was more of a win-win situation for Darren Till, because he's coming off a loss already. Gets knocked out again. It's not like people are going to change their opinion from like, oh, he gets knocked out by Masvidal and then he gets knocked out by KG. It's not like people are going to be like, oh, he's super trash, right? He's going to be like, oh, he fought 2 tough-ass opponents. Then, and let's say he wins, which he ended up doing, he gets in a number 5 spot in the middleweight division, and people kind of forget about the Jorge Masvidal fight. And that's basically what happened, man. Darren Till, had a great performance in here. He exposed a lot of things about KG's game. He went in for the clinch. He did a really good job for going in the clinch and just kind of like, figuring out how strong KG is. And the good thing about this matchup for Till was that KG is a former welterweight. He never was a big welterweight even too. Like, so he was able to even outmuscle him in certain areas, even in the clinch. And he's a Muay Thai striker, or a Muay Thai fighter. He doesn't really have a great background in wrestling like KG. Like KG wrestled in high school, really, really good. Good kid, and he has that in his back pocket. But man, Darren did a lot of things to him, even in the grappling aspect, that kind of that had to hurt KG's feelings a little bit. But even in the footwork, right? It just was so weird. Like, I really honestly believe Gastelum thought this was a tune-up fight, and he kind of fought like he had no urgency. He wasn't setting things up. He was kind of waiting for Till to make a mistake instead of correcting those mistakes that Till can make. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost like he was hitting Till where he sees him instead of, he was hitting Till where he's at instead of where he's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just was crazy. And Till was hitting him where he was going to be instead of where he was at. There was a lot of things Till did. He hit the 1-2, shifted the angle, and got out of the way. Till fought a very defensively mindset kind of fight. He was defensively responsible in this fight. He didn't get hurt. He didn't get dropped. He used a lot of footwork. And yeah, he used a lot of head movement. He got a lot of good angle switches. And Kelvin was just flat-footed, he wasn't moving, and he kind of let the fight get past him. There was just so many things he did wrong in this fight, like so many times. It was like Darren Till did the same 1-2 slip to the same angle, to the same angle, like he slipped to the same angle, switched directions, and he got out of there. Like 3 times I seen him, I was like, what are you doing? Why aren't you like countering? Like he had no counters, he had no answers. And then it got worse. KG throws a body kick. Kelvin catches it, throws him, trips him up. As a wrestler, man, that would hurt my ego a little bit too. And then Kelvin, he riled up in the later last bit of the 3rd round, got 2 takedowns, but Darren Till got up quick. It was a split decision. I thought it was a clear 2-1 to Till. If I'm being 29-28, it was a decent fight. Not the barn burner we were hoping for, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, Till came up strong that day. Then it gets even worse. Kelvin, I don't know what he had on his head, that fucking man bun. Thank God he took it away from himself. But goes fights Jack Hermansson. I mean, this is the epitome of no fight IQ. I mean, KG just literally left his brain in Arizona and went to fucking Fight Island with his body. No brain, just body. You know, goes out there, fights the a grappler, right? Jack Hermansson. You've seen he got knocked out by Cannonier, right? Got knocked out by Thiago Santos. Doesn't really have a great striking base, right? And instead of using your brain and having a almost sprawl and brawl mentality, having a using takedown defense as a weapon, and using that to help your striking. Instead, he wanted to, let's wrestle, basically. That's what he said to Hermansson. Hermansson goes for the body lock. He takes him down. And Hermansson's on bottom. We never really see Hermansson on bottom. Besides, one time he had a bottom finish over David Branch, but, he took him down and got the guillotine, So we never seen Hermansson on the bottom. Hermansson gets the heel hook, submits him real quick, like the dummy he is. Like, KG did that to himself. KG, this is how I look at it. Darren Till, I felt like Darren Till beat him. But a lot of these fights, and besides, I guess, Adesanya, I'll give Adesanya credit. He beat him straight up. But against Hermansson, KG lost that fight. Hermansson didn't win it. That's how I look at it. And it was just, ignorance at its finest. And, Hermansson got the W, super hyped. I was just like, I think I still have the recap video on my YouTube. Just so disappointed. So disappointed in what I watched. I was petitioning for him to go down to middleweight. But it is what it is. Then he fights Ian Heinisch. Right? This was a good performance. This was a good, bounce back performance for him. He did all right in this fight. Obviously, he fought a different fight from his other two. He had a more wrestling heavy mindset. In this fight, Heinisch got the first takedown, I would say, and then Kelvin just started taking over. He started racking up takedowns after takedowns after takedowns. Just had a wrestling clinic, dominated. I think I recorded like maybe 3 big takedowns, like slams, like slamming them. And Heinisch is a really good wrestler, in terms of his credentials. But in the octagon, I remember when I first saw Heinisch, I thought he was going to be this great, takedown. No, not takedown, but wrestler killer, right after his Antonio Carlos Jr. fight. But then we found out Antonio Carlos Jr. just can't wrestle to save his life. He has good jiu-jitsu, but he can't fucking wrestle, right? So, it wasn't that impressive. Then you seen what Derek Brunson did to him. And then you seen what Omari Makadev did to him. So, KG kind of just followed suit. But I would say he had a more dominant performance than Brunson, because Brunson got hurt by Heinisch. And I think Heinisch won a round against Omari Makadev. So, good on Kelvin. He dominated him. He kind of showed that he was a level above him. So, good on him. Just really good fights. But, we've talked about Kelvin enough. Let's talk about the Reaper, Robert. You got to respect the guy, man. Notable wins. If we look at his record, he has a lot of crazy wins, right? He's accomplished a lot. What he did to destroying Brad Tavares, beating Uriah Hall, Derek Brunson, and then, what a win that put him on the map. The win over Jacare Souza, man, that was, amazing. His takedown. If there's anything I can say about Robert Whittaker, in the middleweight division, I don't know about how he would face against other grapplers, but in the middleweight division, he has some of the most beautiful takedown defense I've seen in a long time. Beautiful. He had, dude, man, this was a Jacare Souza that was on a bit of a win streak too. He shut all that shit down for him. He kind of ended Jacare's title hopes, right? If you really want to look at who kind of stopped Jacare at his, at his feet, it was Robert. And, Jacare had his back at one point, and he got out of there. But, but Jacare actually did some things again, and this is something I'm going to bring out a lot. He hit a great overhand on Robert. He caught him. Hey, it is what it is. It didn't really lead to anything, but he caught him, and that's what matters. But Robert obviously rebounded, and Robert's jab. Robert's jab is just so good. It's so unorthodox because it comes from the hip. It's not hands aren't like this. It's like, It's down at the hip, and he just throws. He kind of lunges at it. He kind of jumps with the jab, and it stings in the 1-2, and then he whips the kick around. But man, he caught Jocker with a beautiful 1-2, knocked him down. I was just like, oh my god. And then the head kick he caught him with and just finished Jocker in the second round. I mean, beautiful fight, beautiful striking. Robert is very offensively minded in his striking. Defensively, I don't know. He's defensively minded in his grappling and has great grappling credentials. You look at him. He qualified for the Australian Wrestling Olympic team. To qualify for a wrestling Olympic team, you just seen Jordan Burroughs just lose at the Olympic trials. I think to Kyle Drake, right? I think that's his name, right? I don't want to seem stupid, but yeah, Kyle Drake, right? That's his name. But it's super hard. You see Aaron Pico try to make it. It's not an easy thing to do. But he was able to qualify, and they wouldn't let him wrestle in the Olympics, based on the fact he's a UFC champion. I think the video is still on YouTube, but he's always competing in grappling tournaments. He's a good grappler, and I mean, the Jacare Souza performance was great, but he kind of got hit. He still got hit in that performance. But the performance against Yoel Romero at UFC 213, his first fight against Yoel, I mean, oh my god. Now, Yoel did win the first 2 rounds with wrestling, in my humble opinion. I thought, and this is, a lot of people forget why Yoel kind of stopped wrestling after this fight, or and basically his fight against Paulo Costa, Israel, even Robert Whittaker the second time, right? People were like, why doesn't he wrestle? It's because of this fight. He wrestled so hard in this fight, and it broke him. The first 2 rounds, he was able to get really, 2 good takedowns, right? And it's because of the freestyle wrestling that he learned. Freestyle wrestling is about the takedown instead of the control, And he got some takedowns, but he didn't get a lot of control. And Robert was just able to get back up, and he was breaking Yoel. But the first 2 takedowns, Yoel did pretty good. A beautiful double leg. Just speared right through him, man. Yoel, every time I see him wrestle, it's a delight, because you just see Olympic level wrestling. It's just so beautiful. But man, and then he had an inside trip, I think, and those were the last 2. And then Robert, some started using his takedown defense, and he was breaking Yoel, and he was starting to outstrike him, and and Yoel tried his best to keep him against the cage, but it just was getting worse and worse. Even Robert started to really land a lot of shots on him. He started putting a lot of pressure on him. His jab was starting to break him, and you could just see that the takedowns were getting slower and slower and slower. And then there was this great transition in the 4th round. Just great scramble, and it was just so fun to watch, and it's just beautiful. And then just Robert was able to get back to the cage. He was in the middle of in the octagon, able to scramble his way up back of the cage, on his feet. Just beautiful. And then in the 5th round, right, we're looking at a fight that's 2-2. Yoel won the first 2. Robert wins 3 and 4. And Robert, I don't know if it was a knockdown or a slip. Robert gets him somehow. Yoel falls on his feet, gets him on top, and Yoel's just gassed. He's just done. No cardio. Just over committed on so many takedowns. And that's why I always tell guys, sometimes if you have the defensive wrestling mindset, and if you're really good, if you're really confident in your sprawls, you can break somebody with using defensive wrestling and adding strikes. Obviously you can really destroy somebody's will. That is a grueling thing to do to somebody if you can do it right. We've seen Marvin Vettori kind of do it against Jack Hermanson. That was one I can think of. But man, even Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar, that's a good one I can bring up. Can really break somebody with takedown defense, and that's what Robert did. Beautiful takedown defense in this fight. Then he fights Yoel Romero a second time, and Yoel learned. In my humble opinion, I thought Yoel won this fight. Yoel learned. He did not wrestle a lot. He wrestled only when Robert was just chicken legged. And even, I'll give Robert one thing. Even when he's chicken legged, he has good takedown defense. I mean, the first 2 rounds, Robert, again, his jab is so good. He's got a great jab. I'll give him that. He has a phenomenal jab, right? It's very, and it's like he uses his shoulder as defense. It's not like a Philly shell or like, Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll, right? But it's like he rolls with the shots basically. Anytime anything comes back, it's dangerous. But man, can he get that jab? And it's because it's coming so low, people don't really see it coming. And you can see it like in his last fight in particular, it helped him a lot. But if we talk about this Yoel Romero fight, the jab, he hit a jab and he threw a beautiful rear hook with it. Then he throws that jab 1-2, and then throws the high kick or the roundhouse kick from the back. From the rear leg, and then it's just, beautiful, right? First 2 rounds, Yoel didn't do anything, right? So it is what it is. And then the soldier of God came out and put that boy on his ass, man. Exposed him. His defense, right? I think Robert is very good with the bouncy movement going forward and back. But here's what he does bad. I'll tell you, he did it one time good. When against the first fight against Yoel, him just going straight up forward is okay. But he doesn't do great just going only forward. And doesn't do good only going backwards, right? That's just 2 places he should. It's in that middle where he's bouncing. He's going back and forth. But if he's only mainly going backwards and only mainly going forward, he doesn't do too well, right? So in this situation against Yoel, he was going backwards near the later. He was kind of just trying to back up near those later rounds. And man, he got caught. And what he did so bad, I'll show you. He went like that and got caught, right? He got hit in the chin bad, right, with a lead hook. And he got hit bad, dropped. Hurt. He fought well. I will give him one thing. He fought really well. That was a crazy round, that 3rd round. And I give him credit. He fought really, really well. And in the 4th round, Yoel was cracking him with the 1-2. Almost, Kelvin. You look at a guy like Kelvin. Kelvin hits a beautiful lead hook, right, and a beautiful 1-2, and just a beautiful right cross or a left cross or whatever hand that where he throws the cross. He hits it fast and he hits it accurate and he hits it through the guard too. So if he's knocking guys down even through the guard, expect what he can do with somebody that keeps his hands super low like Robert. And that's what Yoel kind of exposed. And then in the 5th round, Yoel smacks him up. Like, it's crazy. Like, Yoel had him doing the chicken dance in the 4th, and then knocks him down in the 5th, right? Like, oh my God, like Yoel's out here doing his thing, right? So I thought Yoel won this fight, and that 5th round was 10-8, man. There's no denying that. Or you could say it's a draw. I'm okay with a draw, right? And Robert, you could debate he won the 4th round, but like, man, he was doing the chicken dance. He got hurt in that round, I get it, over one moment, it's not good, but yeah. So, he did all right, but man, he showed his toughness in this matchup, but fuck, he got kind of exposed. He doesn't have the best defense, And then he fights Adesanya, like I said. In the Yoel fight, he was kind of moving backwards near the later rounds. In this fight, he mainly went forward. Israel, and I say it, Whittaker has a good jab, but man, Izzy was having fun with this dude, man, and it was so shameful to watch. I was just like, because I'm not the biggest fan of Whittaker, because I kind of felt like Yoel beat him the second time. I didn't feel like he was the real champ. I don't hate him, and I know some people think I hate him. I'm just not the biggest fan of him. I just like Kelvin Gastelum and Yoel Romero a lot more than him, right? But this matchup with Izzy, Titty Monster was just out of control. He was talking crazy, and I did not want to see him win a world title, so I ended up picking Robert. I ended up eating some bad. I was just so disgusted by Robert's performance. He was going forward. He had 2 decent combinations going forward, and then eventually Izzy started having fun with him. And then the lead, he leaned back, obviously. So like, Kelvin's not going to do this when they fight, but Izzy leaned back, connected with the hook at the end of the 1st round near the bell, knocked him down. And in the 2nd round, basically the same thing happened, and he finished him. It was just so shameful. His defense it was so problematic, and it was just one of those things, right? So it is what it is. But I mean, shameful by him, but it's it is what it is. But then he fights Darren Till, right? We're thinking this guy's career is over. He's he what's it called? Pulled out of a fight against Jared Cannonier before the Darren Till fight, and based on some bone, I don't know what happened with him, but we all thought he was done. I think it was based on some mental stress or whatever. But he got hurt. Even though this was a good fight for him, he got hurt in this matchup. He got dropped in the first round. That's what I'm saying. Like, Robert, offensively he's really good, but defensively he lacks. Like, he has a lot of last-minute judgment. And this is what happened. He got dropped, but he rallied back in the later rounds. He dropped Darren Till himself, and then got a few takedowns and really was able to outstrike him and, did his thing, right? Won that fight. Good on him. Did a comeback. I picked Darren Till. Darren Till failed me that day. Then he fights Cannonier. This was shameful by Cannonier, and I say this again. Man, dude, if I ever see Cannonier, bro, I'm like, oh my God, bro. Because Cannonier, he got so addicted to that lead leg kick. And obviously he broke his forearm, I think, when he blocked one of the roundhouse kicks. So it kind of hampered him as a fighter. But I mean, dude, Cannonier disappointed me so much in this matchup, man. I was so sad. But and because I picked Cannonier to win this, and he got taken down. I remember even in the second round. I think Robert won all three, and then Robert just fucking schooled him. And that third hits the 1-2 and hits that beautiful roundhouse kick. I mean, that's Robert's moneymaker right there. He hits that, and he whips that kick around so beautifully. It's like so effortlessly. It just comes right when he throws the 2. The kick is right there, and if you move it, and the thing with Kenny, he moved his head right to the kick. He got dropped, but again, Robert got hurt even in this fight near the end, and this was like one of his best performances, and at least his last 3 fights, right? I mean, he even got hurt. He was doing the chicken leg dance. So, even in this fight, he got hurt. And Robert, that's just a theme in Robert's fights. It's almost like he needs to get hurt to do good. Now, I've talked about all these guys and their fights. I know, damn, I'm 37 minutes in. Hope you guys do enjoy this. But I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it short. Here's one way I can see Robert winning, and there's another way I can see KG winning. Robert can use his takedown defense because KG showed against Ian Heinisch he has a new wrestling mentality. If KG goes for a lot of takedowns, that would be the biggest mistake of his life. And Robert has a phenomenal jab. So if Robert can keep him bay with the jab, he can pick him off. And if KG wrestles too much, he can get tired. And we could kind of see what the Adesanya fight, and KG kind of get tired, and his defense kind of lack and get hurt. And I could see Robert breaking him with takedown defense and then finishing him off with strikes. You could see that happen. That is a possibility. That's one way I can see Whittaker winning. Maybe a 4th round or 3rd round TKO, somewhere in there. But KG can go out there. If he doesn't wrestle, he has to be smart. Maybe use some wrestling feints and kind of like make him think. If he goes out there and just kind of waits it around, fights a patient fight, he can catch Robert. KG has fast hands. He has fast hands. And this is payback time, bitch. You ran away from the first fight. All right? That's a fact. Okay? It's time to get some. And this is redemption season for my boy KG. KG wants to win this. Robert, you had your time to shine. It's time to move. And KG can catch him with that 1-2 or the lead hook. Robert's shown as to be susceptible to a lead hook and the 1-2, right? He's been knocked out before. He got knocked out by Stephen Thompson. This guy is a former welterweight. KG's always had problems with guys bigger than him or who have a longer reach than him, So I think KG can catch this guy on the chin, baby, and I think he'll knock him out. I got KG by 2nd round knockout. I'm taking it. I know some of y'all going to be pissed. Gonna give me that lip treatment, but it is what it is. My boy KG is coming back. He's gonna knock this dummy out, all right, in the 2nd round. Y'all gonna cry about it later, and y'all can go shove that goddamn title shot up y'all ass because Robert ain't doing nothing in a rematch. I don't trust Robert. I can trust KG. I trust Marvin. That's about it. But it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going KG by second round knockout. Go follow me on my Twitter. Go follow me on my Instagram. If you're new, if you made it this far, good job, man. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, obviously, like, share the video, comment, tell me, things you didn't like what I said, tell me how you feel, hit me up, and it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love y'all, and goodbye.